Da da bum da, slipping into dark nights. Boom, dunk, dunk, boom, ba dunk, dunk, dunk. Hey, what's up, Gally? How you doing? I see some people out there traveling incognito. They don't want to be seen. They're trying to hide out. They're trying to hide out. Oops, 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 oops. 1 2 1 2. My YouTube people, can you hear me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Working on my new studio. So you see, I can hear. Well, I guess that's a good thing. I didn't hook up my other mic. So much going on. So much. Every now and then I have to talk about Richard Pryor, and I'm reminded why there are so many Trumpsters and Trumpeteers. They're not just struggling for white privilege. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Little neophyte. I feel like I got virgins in here. Anyway, I'm trying to behave. I'm gonna behave tonight. I'm gonna see if I don't get kicked off this week. Um, I'm back after my 1 week hiatus. I'm back after my I guess they call it a 1 week sentence. I call it a censorship. You guys know I kind of went hard on the Olympics, but I really felt the way I felt, and I felt like it had to be said, so I said it. Anyway, I'm stop kind of messing around, and I'm just say good evening and welcome to the show. As always, I always start off by saying thank you for choosing to spend your Thursday night with me. As always, I'm truly humbled of all the things you could be choosing to do. You choose to be here tripping with me. Um, my show is called Omit the Logic. I got something to say. It must be true. We call Omit the Logic, this shit makes no sense. Because when I look at current affairs right now, when I look at some of the things that are going on, there's nothing else I could say other than this shit makes no sense. Again, I had a show all planned out. Whether I follow that format is probably up in the air because things have just been happening as I call this press time, but as I come to the production hour, that makes me want to talk about some of the things that are happening. If you don't already know, my name is Hank Batiste. I'm your host tonight. And I'm working on my new studio, so bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Folks, tonight it's the same old, same old, same old bullshit that I've been talking about for what seems like almost 2 years now. I've been making predictions, and every time I make a prediction, I say, I hope that I'm wrong. And then the prediction comes true. And I'm still upset because somehow I think that if I speak it into existence, somebody will have some lights go off. There'll be some illumination in all of that darkness, the deep recesses of their mind. And somehow, some way, they'll make a change before we find ourselves down the shitstorm of a rabbit hole. Tonight, because it's the same old SSDD, I said that I'm sick and perpetually tired of the same old shit. After a week of Facebook censorship for supposedly violating community standards, and I keep thinking about it. I said, well, hold up, damn it. I am the community. We are the community. And if you don't feel violated, and if I violated, believe me, you know you were violated. But if you don't feel violated, then who's making these archaic, arrogant rules for censorship? So being in Facebook jail, as I don't know if that's an affectionate description or if we should just be so incensed that some person has created this monstrosity we call social media, and they have assumed power for what we can say and how we can say it. What really makes me sick and perpetually tired, is the fact that there's this perpetual lie that they've been telling since November the 4th that gets so much play. Every time you turn on a TV, you hear of this lie. And if this person can go on and his minions can go on and a whole party, a whole political party can go on and tell this lie and not be censored, then how can I be censored by telling the truth? What I said week before last was there was a time when the Olympics was the creme de la creme, the best of the best. So those people that were participating in the Olympics took pride in them coming up first, second, or even last. Imagine coming in last in the Olympics. And you would say, well, damn, I trained all of this time and I didn't win a medal, you understand? I came in dead last, but you're still better than 99% of those other athletes. So it meant something to wear that blazer and take that stroll in the Olympics. It meant that you were competing against the very best. And what I said, and I'm going to say it again because I want to see, I'm hard-headed. I said that the 2020 Olympics already had an asterisk on it because it went a year late. But to add insult to injury, the two best athletes were not allowed to compete in their sports. Those two athletes, and I know you already know, Sha'Carri Richardson, this girl she's a racehorse. She's a thoroughbred. She's a freak of nature, but she should have been allowed to compete. And Simone Biles. What's bile is how they treated this young lady. How could you say, we're pissed because you always win? We're upset because you always win. So maybe you should give someone else a chance. No. Maybe they should try harder. It's bad enough you take this girl's moves. When she comes up with a move that becomes a signature for her, and you penalize her. Now, on top of that, you say, okay, we want you to help the team win gold, but we want to restrict your competition. And then they put out a press release that she's having mental issues. And Simone said, the only mental issues that I have is they say, not they say that I always win. Well, you're the best. And until you are no longer the best, you deserve to win. So that's what I said. But I closed out my show with, I talked about a little bit about the bigotry and racism of the Olympics. I talked about Jesse Owens. I talked about 1960 with Muhammad Ali and him being so incensed because he could win gold and have a parade, but couldn't walk into a restaurant and get a ham and egg sandwich. So incensed that he threw his gold medal into the river. I talked about 8 years after that in Mexico, where Carlos and Tommy Smith, John Carlos and Tommy Smith, they threw up a signal in solidarity to those back home who were fighting for civil rights. So I drew this parallel that the Olympics has always been racist. But now, because America is treating people of color one way, the world feels carte blanche to treat them that way as well. So the truth of the matter is, I felt like America should have been fighting the Olympic Committee to make sure that these two young ladies could do what they've been training to do their entire lives. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I wanted you to know. Now, they said I said something that somehow violated community standards, and what I said, somehow I guess it excited violence. Fuck out of here. I'd never told nobody to beat nobody and so forth and so on. As a matter of fact, there's nothing I deplore more than bullying. So my statements were about people being bullied. And that's what racism is. It's systematic bullying and putting people down because their sheer presence makes you feel inferior. So for that, I was silenced for a week. And when I came back, the truth of the matter is, I didn't really miss Facebook. There were so many other things. There were still people that reach out to me. There's still people that I communicate with. So I didn't really miss Facebook. But I know that, in the words of Martin, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? There's a message that I can bring to you because I don't have a sponsor who says, well, if you say this, you're going to cut into our monies. Therefore, you need to say this a little way. Let's edit that out. And no. I come to you straight, no chaser. I come to you off the top of my head and I come to you from my heart. And a lot of times I get caught up because this shit means something to me. Even though it don't make sense, it means something to me. So I feel a need to be able to say what I say. And then I make predictions. And I keep telling everybody, I say this COVID thing. I've been saying from the beginning, my background is in healthcare. My background is in history. My background is in business. Policy, public policy. So I'm not just talking off the top of my head. Even when I'm talking off the top of my head, I'm speaking from the heart. Well, what I say to you, I research. I make sure that my I's are dotted, my T's are crossed before I come to press with you. So, like I said, I'm sick and perpetually tired of the same old, same old. We're headed to another shutdown simply because people are being allowed to spread lies, but I can't openly tell the truth. If somebody came to me and said, well, you know what? You said that COVID was going to mutate, and you're not a virologist. And I said, well, you know what? I did the research. No, I don't hold the credentials of a virologist, but I worked in medicine for 41 years. I've worked with viruses and diseases and all of this. So when I do something, I do the same thing I encourage you to do. I research. Now we seeing our kids. Now we seeing babies being affected with this COVID virus. They have this thing that they call pediatric pneumonia. And it's the manifestation of the COVID virus. Notice they're not calling it corona anymore. Reshaping the narrative. Notice they already have said, I said it was going to mutate, and I said it was going to happen as it starts to get cold. Well, when it's hot here, it's cold in Africa. Yes, Africa gets cold. So now we're seeing a Delta variant here in America. They've already named the next mutation or variant or variation. They use these words to soften the blow by telling you that this shit is not going away. So the next mutation has been named as Gamma. Sound like some Bruce Banner shit, like you're going to turn green and get superhuman. No. You're going to turn green, you won't be able to breathe. And 12-year-olds are being hospitalized. I wanted to talk about a couple of things tonight. I wanted to talk about the COVID virus and variants and mutations. I wanted to talk about freedom of speech because it's not something that should just be afforded to those people that we elect to serve us, and they exalt themselves and they tell us what they want to tell us. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about this impending shutdown. And I keep saying, I hope my predictions are wrong. But when I look at the state of Florida and Texas have these Trump Republican governors who are refusing any type of mandate. And as much as DeSantis is trying to push economics here in the state of Florida, companies like Disney are saying, you have to do this, you have to wear masks. The thing that I don't like is we are still using this honor system with people who have no honor. So now we're talking about in the state of Florida, hospital beds are already full. But it's not 60s and over. It's younger people. It's 12-year-olds. It's 11-year-olds. It's 10-year-olds. It's babies, man. I went to get some furniture yesterday, and I'm talking to the lady, and she's telling me how she just don't care. And her two grown sons, decided that they would get vaccinated, but she would not. no matter what. And I just shook my head. And I said, sometimes apples do fall far from the tree. And she never got it. She never got it. She looked at me and she said, huh? I said, nothing. What's the total on that? And I kept it moving. Because there's nothing that I could say. You guys are my friends, my family, my Facebook family for sure. And there's nothing I could say that's going to change how you think in 30 minutes or less. So how could I have a 10, 15-minute conversation with this woman and she has some epiphany or revelation? So I just stopped talking. Okay, cool. All right. Tell your sons to say hello. I'm glad they decided to get the vaccine. I'm tired of talking about this, folks. I remember last January, we had so much promise. We said by July, we would be back to a new norm. Biden was talking about back better, not having the same old, but making things better. And then he got bogged down in the politics of the office. And only good news this week is this this $1 trillion infrastructure bill was passed. I think 69-30 or something like that. So there is hope. Not as much as we'd like, but there is hope. I'm full, folks. I'm full because somebody could tell me what I could say. Somebody could tell me what I could tell you. Somebody can tell us how we can joke with each other. And they call that violating a community standard. We are the community. And the only reason I stick with this medium, and you notice I haven't been online as much this week. The only reason I stick with this is you. Because you show up here Thursday night, want to hear what I have to say. And I come up in here and I feel like freedom of speech. Trump had the audacity to say that he spoke to Ashley, the one girl who was shot and killed, the Air Force muckety muck who drove all the way across country. How you 39 years old and you can't make conscious decisions? She drove from San Diego to DC. And with every approaching mile, she got more and more hype, more and more amped up. And when they broke that glass, she decided to go through it. The only reason they fired a shot at her is because there were 2 congressmen behind the Capitol Hill cop. We've already heard that they had a directive not to hurt anyone because these were patriots. So Trump had the audacity, despicable, delusional Donnie had the audacity to say that he spoke with Ashley's parents and he assured them that she was murdered and the Capitol Hill police that shot and killed her should be brought up on charges. That's inciting the riot. That's inciting violence. Me saying, fuck the Olympics because you mistreat someone is not inciting violence. San Francisco police. They say if a vaccination mandate is instilled, they are going to quit. I said, fuck out of here, go. Where are you going to work? A lot of them, all they can be is police. And they're so full of themselves and this little power that the badge and the gun gives them that they feel like they're immune to the laws of the rest of the world. the rest of the country, other people in the state, other people in the community. So I say, and the guy from the police union was on and saying, well, the mandate says that if they don't get it, they'll be fired. Well, let them quit first and find someplace else to work. Folks, it makes no sense. It makes no sense when these folks are coming up and they're saying things and they have this, they don't just incite violence, they incite and perpetuate stupidity. And they're allowed to do so because it's their constitutional right. But if you and I are joking on Facebook and you say something to me, if I don't find it offensive, then there shouldn't be a problem. But then, we have these Facebook friends who sometimes report us, but I don't necessarily believe that. I think some of us, especially some of us, are target because of the things that we say and the things that we stand for. And for the sheer fact that we're different than those that are in power. So they don't feel like we should have a voice. They don't feel like we should have the same rights that they have. So that's all I got to say about that. But yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off to the utmost of pissosity. I'm sick and perpetually tired of this thing called social media promoting us being ratchet. And there's nothing wrong with that. People can do anything they want on TikTok and become a social media sensation, go viral. But if you say that we should have voting rights and you're willing to stand up for that, stand up has been interpreted as inciting violence. And there's nothing more bullshit-y than that. So folks, I do this for my grandchildren. I do this for your friends, your family, because we have to come together. Otherwise, this don't mean nothing. I wanted to make this light and happy and say, yo, your man is back. I was gone for a week. I got a tan, blase. I got in front of the camera and I couldn't do none of that. I just wanted to go off the top of the head and have some fun with some people, my regulars that come up and the things that they say and interact. But there's something I want to do. I want to do a show on this behavior because I'm the Walmart paparazzi. If you come in Walmart looking any kind of way, I'm going to get you. And I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to make you famous. So I want to do a show on back to basics. How do we get back to a place where we took pride in our appearance? How do we get back to a fact where elders actually acted like elders, like they had some wisdom, instead of setting an example, a poor example for their children and in a lot of cases, their grandchildren? I saw a video of a woman and her grandchild twerking. And I'm going, that's a grandchild and a grandmother? I guess nobody wanted to see the kid read a book. I guess nobody wanted to see these little spelling bee champions. They would rather see a toddler shaking their ass. We got to get back. So I'm going to pose a question this coming week. The other thing I want to talk about in weeks to come is we can no longer sit back and wait for this Trumpism to fade. We've got to do something. So I'm going to talk about what I think we can do. And I'm going to get some feedback from you. So, folks, I'm going to make this short and sweet this week because I'm off the rails. I'm pissed because as a child, I got spanked. And when I got spanked, I said, well, why'd you hit me? So when you're a child, you should think as a child and speak as a child. Okay, well, now I'm an adult, and I feel a responsibility to say what needs to be said. So why am I being punished when others are saying a whole lot worse and they're being rewarded? So we're going to talk about how do we, because these Trumpies and Trumpettes and Trumpers and Trumpsters, it's only about 10–15% of the population. But they're so loud, they're so boisterous, they're so vocal, you would think it's a majority. So I think it's time that we, the majority, not act up, but act out. We should stand up and start making some examples, not just for our kids and our grandkids, but for those grown-up people who choose to misbehave. Cool? Cool. I know. Welcome back. I didn't know what this show was going to be like. I'm looking at my notes, and I can't even read it. I'm so angry I'm seeing red. On the bright side, I've been blissfully blessed. I told you I'm working on this studio. And as I get the studio together, I'll tell you. I'll share with you, my Facebook family, my podcast family, what's happening and why things are the way they are. Just keep the faith, folks. As always, important to wish you love, wish you peace. I'll see you next week, right here. Same Baptiste time, same Baptiste place. Love, peace. Go to my YouTube. Go to my YouTube. If I'm not here next week, if I get suspended again, first of all, I need you guys to sign up. When you go to YouTube and they ask you, do you want YouTube TV? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want a partridge in the pear tree? Just say no. And subscribe. Subscribe to my channel because the time is coming. I am pissed because the time is coming when my voice will be silenced on Facebook. I've been trying not to say it, but shit, Stevie Wonder could see it. Because they don't like what I have to say. I'm not getting on here and acting a fool. When I clown with you, it's a warm-up. See, I avoided saying something. I was going to talk a little bit tonight about there being a shortage of white people and make the old Richard Pryor joke. Because the 2020 census was the first time in almost 300–400 years when white people are a minority. Now we know it, but now it's being proven. And guess what? There's a booming population. And the last names are Gutierrez, Hernandez, and so forth and so on. Well, seeing as though a lot of them were living here to begin with, so I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. So It's always important, people. I got to get out of here. I just can't come straight tonight. I'm pissed. I'm sick and perpetually tired of the same stuff. When we start to talk about Afghanistan, we got to get out of there. We can't make those people act right. They've been that way since forever. I'm sick and perpetually tired. When we talk about COVID, when your kids and your grandkids start to get sick, do you not have a change of heart, a change of mind? When your friends are dropping like flies, but yet you hold on to this. Has it not become obvious that the people that are telling you not to get the vaccination has already gotten the vaccination themselves? Come on, man. Last one. Fuck out of here. It's always important. I wish you love. I wish you peace. Like your man, Agrees. Go to my YouTube. Subscribe. Because my days here are numbered. My days here are numbered. My days here are numbered. So if you see what I do and you feel a need to share it, do that. Let's start sharing some positive stuff, and not just people acting a fool and people with this ghetto wisdom. It took me forever to realize I have no fucks to give. What? Okay. See you next week. Same Baptiste time, same Baptiste place. I'm out of here. I gotta go. I can't do no more. I can't. I said I was going 10 minutes ago. I feel like old red. Good night, folks. Y'all be good. I'm out. What's up, people? How y'all doing?